What is up, you guys? My name is Eric V, and welcome to the Real Radar Radio Show. I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of new format intro that I'm kind of bringing to the show. It's been a little over a month since I've done the last show. I'm actually in the current process of getting my show finally reviewed from Spotify and looked at, and hopefully I qualify for iHeartRadio as well. So those are some big news, big changes coming to the show as of late. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, I've been under review. I've been under consideration for Spotify for about since the last episode. And since the last episode, I've turned in all the necessary and proper means I need to be able to do the show and actually have it, available for everybody that can listen to it on Spotify. So all my necessary, findings behind that, everything that has to go forward to the RSS feed, everything that has to go forward and to go into Spotify is being under review. I just received the email today that it's finally being looked over, and I should know a response within the next 5 to 6 days. But that could actually span into 5 or 6 weeks. So here's to hoping that the next episode will be on Spotify. As far as iHeartRadio goes, I'm actually currently submitting my show to be reviewed for iHeartRadio, but considering the fact that they don't want a show that is less than 2 weeks old, since they want their content to be periodically updated, which is understandable. I've been lacking on doing the show, been lacking on doing remaining consistent with my content, remaining with the shows moving forward, and bringing the content that I've been trying to bring more moving forward with everything that I have going on, especially with the show. I'm still currently trying to get all this what's it called? These YouTube policies looked out and looked after, because I received an email from YouTube. I want to say it was like midweek last week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, where one of my episodes, I don't think it was a recent one, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 episodes back, it actually got flagged due to someone actually reporting the show, or actually reporting the episode to YouTube. They didn't really specify or really go in detail as to why my show was reported or for what reason. I've tried to contact YouTube directly via email to no avail. I didn't get no response or anything that was somewhat crystal clear, or anything that was along the lines of there being some sort of reasoning behind me receiving this email. But I'm not discouraged at all. I'm not, because this has happened in the past where one of my shows actually got flagged on iTunes for excessive use of profanity, which is bullshit, pun intended, because it is. It truly was. There was no need for my show to get flagged. However, my show actually stayed. That episode actually stayed on my iTunes archive, so at least that, right? I mean, I don't have to worry about the missing episode, or worry about my archives being an episode short because they pulled it. So it's still there in all its entirety. You guys can go check it out. I believe it's episode 24 or 25 that actually got flagged. It's still there. I don't know why I even got notified or anything like that about that, but yeah, this episode 47 or 48 that I got flagged for on this one. I haven't heard anything back from YouTube, so hopefully I can follow up on that the next episode. Hopefully I'll get some sort of response or some sort of decent reminder or some clarification or some clearing up of this ongoing thing or issue that I currently have, because I've never had a reason to be flagged or be, told, my content's not great or somewhere along the lines of me being, flagged or being labeled inappropriate or something, because what I've done with this show is that I've tried to remain, optimistic about things that I'm talking about, remain somewhat intrigued and somewhat happy to do these things, which I am. I love the show. I love everything about it. I love doing the show. I've talked to a couple of other creators online who have voiced their opinions and their legality issues with YouTube and the many things that they have faced. Excuse me, I was clearing my throat. Many other people that have faced other issues regarding YouTube and regarding their content and stuff has actually been reviewed, has actually been taken down, have actually been, flagged for certain items and certain material. But in the long run, I do believe YouTube is quietly pushing the agenda that they really want, their content or their creators' content that they associate with to be of a certain nature or a certain specific type or something, somewhere along the lines. So these people that I've talked to and that I've met online, which I've mentioned before in previous episodes, the I Am Creator community has been truly accepting, truly, helping, very kind and welcoming, especially with my show. I mean, I look at these content creators online, the people that are part of the I Am Creator community. These guys are top notch. They know their shit, basically. And these creators and these YouTubers are moving forward and they're taking a stand against YouTube, and it's really showing everybody that have really doubted, us as a community, doubted us as individuals in the past. Shows that we're coming together, we're banding together to show that small creators do matter. Small creators do essentially help YouTube in every shape, in every way, in every form, no matter the content. I, for one, I'm a podcast creator. I don't do videos. I don't do short films like I would like to. I would really, really love to do short films and videos, but the part of me knows that I just can't, and part of me knows that I just cannot fathom the idea or get behind this whole way of being able to move forward to do videos the way I want to and the way to do things that I wish I could, because it's just not the same. And it's bad, because I've been wanting for the longest time to do videos, for the longest time to be wanting to be a part of doing videos for YouTube, and especially making like Q&A questions and live videos and live streams and stuff. I've done one live stream for YouTube, which is available on my YouTube channel if you just happen to go check it out. I briefly talked about the Scream franchise and talked about other things that were regarding the topic and issues around that time, and it was nice to kind of get my feet wet in that area, in that aspect. But I feel like in terms of me doing videos and remaining just a content creator, just doing podcasts, I think in the long run I should just stick to what I'm good at, and that's just podcasting. So for the time being, and you're hearing it here first, for the time being, no other videos will be posted onto YouTube unless it's a podcast episode. I truly wish it was the other way around, where I can actually announce my potential and announce my positivity towards creating videos and being a part of having my content seen, rather than heard. It's heartbreaking because a part of me really wants to make these videos. The time that I don't have, the patience that I do have just doesn't match with the time that I don't have. I'm a very busybody person. I'm taking summer classes at my local college. I am one semester away from graduating with my associates in biomedical equipment technology. It's been an amazing journey. My college career has been fluctuant. It's been all over the place, but it's been an amazing ride. I'm ready for it all to end so I can move on to the next chapter in my life, which is hopefully become a working member of society and contribute my ways and my willingness to be a successful person in today's society. It's not much. It's not the greatest thing in the world to, see everybody complaining about the daily grind and be a part of something that's even bigger about, working constantly and working an 8 to 5 normal job. Listen, to me, working an 8 to 5 job is the dream, is the goal for me. I know a lot of people had different dreams, different goals, different aspirations, but for me, the end game, for me, it's working an 8 to 5 job like a normal person. As many of you may know, I work overnight hours. I work a lot of graveyards. As of recent, I don't know if I mentioned that I've had a coworker who was going to resign from this job, because he was moving to another part of the U.S. and he was gonna leave the crew of 4 people that we just work with, drop down to 3, and my schedule, which consisted of mainly some weekend shifts, where I would just work three nights during the week and 2 days on the weekend. Saturdays and Sundays I would work maybe from 11:30 to 8:30 and get out at 8:30 at night. But since he left, my schedule has changed to full night schedule. I get to work from 8 p.m. to 5 in the morning every Tuesday through Saturday. So I am off Sundays and Mondays. My schedule has changed completely. I am trying to be one with this schedule, trying to be able and get used to this routine, and it's not helping any. It's not getting any better, but I'm dealing with it. I'm trying to get around it, trying my best to wrap my head around it, because it's just not as easy as I want it to be. It's not as easy as I thought it would be, because things change. A lot of things happen. And I for one, think that hopefully the schedule, if I do remain to keep it, will actually coexist with my internship schedule that I will be starting in the fall as I get ready and prepared to finish college and graduate and all that great stuff. So, here's to that. There's to this. Here's to hoping and wishing, and I really hope that everything, works out that way. Welcome to the Real Radar Radio Show, guys. It's been a long month and a half since I've done a show. I've missed doing this. I've missed you guys. I've missed the feedback from all of you out there. Thank you guys for being patient and understanding and knowing that when I get to do the episode, it's a big deal for me, because I finally feel relaxed and feel comforted knowing that talking on this show for 45 minutes with you guys makes it that much more better. If you're new to the show, welcome to the show. If you're a returning member of the show, you guys know pretty much how linguistic things can be here, how things can be kind of shady in terms of me producing content, because it's just the way of life. Things go a certain way. We all struggle through it. We all go through life. We all have a busy schedule. And once you get an opportunity to listen to the show and get a chance to just sit down and relax, hey, I'm here with you guys talking about the week's events, what you guys have been up to, what have I been up to, entertainment news, things that are going on in Hollywood, horror news, subgenre breakdowns, trailer breakdowns, everything that's coming to fruition is just here for the taking. And so I'm just really glad to be back. I really hope I can remain consistent for future episodes. That way it just stays that way, for content's sake and for being able to be considered for iHeartRadio and Spotify. So hopefully that works out too. Before I left episode 49, I mentioned that my next episode, episode 50, this episode would consist of an Infinity War review. And the highly anticipated Avengers Infinity War is out in theaters now. It's been out in theaters for, I want to say, a good 3 weeks to going on a month already. There has just been so much that has gone on with this film from the get-go, from the very beginning, since we've gotten very first footage at D23 over a year ago. We've gotten things that have just come out of left field, a lot of theories, a lot of things that have actually been confirmed, things that have actually might come true come time for Avengers 4. You know, Infinity War for me was the culmination of what I truly aspired it to be. It actually pushed the boundaries for me to actually see, you know, the bigger picture come time for Avengers 4. And what the thing for me was that this film brought in so much aspiration and gave all these characters great screen time to interact with one another, to show that this film's plot of the Infinity Stones being known to the general public, us, the moviegoers, us, the fans, that, you know, the locations of these Infinity Stones, what they mean, what can they do, who has them, who had them, who wants them. It all just comes down to the story. And the story itself was just superb by all means necessary. When I say that Infinity War is just Marvel's baby that turned into this megalithic giant, is now the number one movie in all the US, is now the number one movie of all time, that itself is a record on its own that has just swept records of Avatar and Titanic and Black Panther out of the water. And I would have to say Black Panther is probably in second with the greatest Marvel movie of all time. However, as I mentioned to you guys in episode 49, I would not mention spoilers in this film, even though that this film is 3 weeks already to the box office, going on a month already, and I'm sure everyone has already seen it and has already discussed it and has already know what's going on. I still want to remain spoiler free, due to the fact that it just means so much more to just keep it down and just keep it level, because not a lot of people saw the movie. Not everybody can see it because, you know, the cinema prices are ridiculous. I can agree to that. Other things that go on, you know, whether you're married, you have a dead end job, you're working odd hours, you stayed up all night late with the kids, or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's the understanding is there. So I don't want someone who listens to my show to be caught off guard with me giving spoilers and giving away things that I shouldn't be giving away, because I just, you know, that's not me. Had the film be out for like 2 months, maybe I would have given away spoilers, but seeing that, you know, not everybody have seen the film, people still have gone out to go see it, still want to go see it, it's not my time and place to, you know, spoil it. So I'll let that slide. Maybe revisit Infinity Wars come time for another episode where I can actually openly discuss the future of the MCU and what the ending of Infinity War means moving forward in the MCU, and what we can expect come time for Avengers 4, what come time for Captain Marvel, what does this time lapse and Ant-Man and the Wasp mean? Does that mean any connection whatsoever? So again, I will revisit Infinity War another episode. I would have to say 10 out of 10. This film has been amazing, and I would hands down watch it again over and over again until I'm gray in the hair, old in the bones, wrinkled in the skin. And I hope one day I can actually turn around and share this experience and these films with my kids. Come time for that to happen later down the road, if and when, not if a matter of if, it's a matter of when I have children. So that's something to look forward to. I'm truly excited for that. One of the main things that I want to talk about in this episode was the aforementioned of nightmares, the aforementioned of what you feel when you're in this state of sleep. When we all sleep, we all want to get rest, we all work hard, we all come home after a long day at work, whether you're working an 8-hour shift, 12-hour shift, 16-hour shift, 24-hour shift, whether you're an overnighter, an 8 to 5er, a graveyarder, whatever your case is, we all sleep, we all rest, we all try to find the right time, the proper time to get the much amount needed rest that we need to be able to function the next day, to be able to carry on in the next day's activities and our daily lives. But what is it that makes you really reconsider your nightmares and your dreams? What are you truly scared of? What is something that you just can't shake away fear-wise? What is something that you've dreamt of that's been a nightmare to you, that you've truly woken up afraid, that you've woken up in fear? Many things and many people have played into key contributions into what our nightmares and what our dreams consist of, what they mean, what are they trying to tell us. Is it our subconscious playing mind games with us? Is it a deeper meaning into what it means to dream about certain people in your life that you haven't seen in many years? There's a saying that if you dream of people in your life that you know, if you dream of them, they dream of you the same night. Or if you dream of somebody, it's because you miss them, or you have repressed memories or repressed feelings towards them that you just haven't quite figured out yet, or something that kind of intertwines with different things and different people at different periods of your life. I've dreamt about seeing my grandpa through the window of the church when I was a kid. This was when the church was barely first being built. There was no mosaic, painted mosaics on the wall or where the windows should be just yet. There was just regular windows after the recently constructed church that was built. I want to say this is more than maybe 7 years ago. I've never had the privilege of meeting my grandfather. I had attended service that night. It was Christmas Eve. I attended church with my dad, and we were there. And I remember being just struck by shock because I've never met my grandfather. I've seen pictures of him. I've seen how the gentleman that he is, the smiling, man that he was a very kind and gentle man from what I understand and from what I know based on what my grandmother has told me, what my dad has told me. I've heard many things about my grandfather, many great things, and I saw his face through that window that night. And although it wasn't scary, it wasn't off-putting, it was shocking because not once did he leave or did he disappear from sight. The entire service, I saw my grandfather's face through that window smiling at me. Strange thing was that I didn't see the man blink. I didn't see him move an inch. But ever since that day, I've never seen anything like that ever. And he appeared in the window the exact same way I see him in photographs, with his glasses on and his hair slicked back. It's dreams and small details that we can try to remember, that sometimes we just have a hard time remembering. But this wasn't a dream. This was actually real life. This was actually Christmas Eve. This was actually me as a kid growing up, seeing my grandfather's face and realizing that this was just insane for me to see with my own eyes. I've never seen anything or anybody like him, just him. And again, I never met him, and for me it was really comforting knowing that I got to see my grandfather's face, and it wasn't just in a picture. So for me, it was really comforting, very heartwarming, knowing that my grandfather was around. He was watching me. He was watching over me. He was making sure everything was okay. And I still believe that very strongly, that my grandparents are looking down at me, or watching over me, making sure that things are okay, that I'm protected and everything's going well. My grandmother was and still is a great big influence in my life, and she's the main reason why I've turned to have a great appreciation for music, and to appreciate all genres of music, to appreciate the fine things in life, the small things in life, and to love one another, and to love yourself, and to be comfortable with who you are, and to be a better person, and to want to do good and do better, is to pursue an education that will help you get there. My grandmother was really big on education. Was really proud of us wanting to be able to push forward to better ourselves and to get a good education. And I find myself hopefully going to be able to graduate college knowing that I've done this, and she would be proud of me. Other dreams I've had, other nightmares that I've had, consisted of dark shadows, dark figures, things that have popped out from underneath the bed, out of the closet, the side of my bed, the foot of my bed, through the wall. My most recent nightmare, I remember telling my brother this just last night, that I had this nightmare of a dark figure, a dark shadow, just lunging out from my closet after the closet door swung open, and he stabbed me right in the chest. And this was a dream within a dream. So I woke up from the first dream, checking my chest and freaking out and worrying about what was going on, and realizing that it was just a dream. The same figure elongated his arm from underneath the bed and stabbed me right in the chest from underneath the bed. I woke up again, and I woke up with this small little pain in my chest, and it was really faint, nothing bad, nothing weird. I wasn't hurt or anything, but I remember feeling this small little pain in my chest that just didn't feel right. And I'm not one that scares easily when it comes to horror films or horror stories, creepypastas, encounters with the spirits, or anything of that nature. I usually have a great tolerance and a great appreciation for the horror genre and everything creepy and mysterious and odd. I like to think that horror is my favorite genre, and throughout all movies. So I try to get a good balance and get a good sense of what this dream meant. For the life of me, I couldn't remember what I dreamt about before that. Before getting stabbed in the chest, I couldn't remember what I was dreaming of. I just remembered this small detail of me just being stabbed in the chest. And Not just once, but twice. Same figure, same person. Didn't see his face, didn't see any facial features, nothing. It was just, it's like being stabbed in the chest by a stick figure. But this figure was shifty, shape-shifted, pointy head, dark, long, tall, slender figure. And before you think, oh, he said slender, it must be Slender Man. No. Qualities of the Slender Man. But dark. He was dark. He was a dark figure. He was black. He was something that I've never seen before. And probably something I probably never will see again. And I just don't know what was the whole significance behind that. I've tried Googling it. I've tried looking it up on the computer. I've tried everything I could to try to decipher this. But there's nothing on it. Nothing. Everything else that you look for in dreams and nightmares, when you search on the web, it tells you about, if you dream about somebody, a family member or a close friend that you haven't seen in a long time, they must be dreaming about you too. Or they miss you. Or they're subconsciously trying to warn you about a future event or something that's going to happen. I can't really discuss what this dream consisted of, or what this really meant on a level of how I can, relate to this to anything else. But this dark figure that I saw, this dark entity, or this being that was in my dream, kind of reminded me a lot of some of the episodes that I saw of Black Mirror on Netflix. And this show, Black Mirror, if you're not familiar with it, is a show that's produced by Channel 1 or Channel 4 that's out of London. It's a BBC production, and it's this anthology horror series that discusses the advancements in technology in the future. Things that could happen in 10 years, or things that could happen within the next 10 minutes, or things that happen from now until then, what our future could be with the advances in technology, things that happen if we're not careful with technology now. So this horror series, this Black Mirror series, is an interesting show. It's interesting to watch. It's very, very, makes you think. It's very gripping. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. And each story that you watch, each episode that you watch, is a very different episode from the first. It's a different show every episode. It's a different cast. It's a different, plot. It's a different storyline. And I think that's what makes the show so great, is that it's inconsistent with having just one general theme, but remaining consistent by presenting you this form of potential reality that could happen in the near future, in a few years, maybe, perhaps, things that could happen any which way that we see it. And this show, for me, has just been mind-boggling, has been very open and out there. And I'm still not past season 2, because I'm trying to take this slow. I'm trying to take this show in bits and pieces, because I really want to absorb the greatness of the show. It's really great. It's really great to watch. It's really fun. And it makes you think. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You wonder what happens with technology. We wonder what happens when people act a certain way, when things go differently, when things just don't work out the way you see it, or you're faced with a situation where you're trying to make this hasty decision in order to make the right decision. Things that just don't play out the way that we should see them, or the way that's very cliched to how things should be played out. But this show in particular has just been one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. and I do plan on watching more of the show. I do plan on binge watching the show as time goes on, eventually. But for me, I would have to say that this Black Mirror show is, I think, the best show that I've seen that remains in the horror genre, but just doesn't shy away from being real, from being what could be real, what could be aimed towards there being anything else that we could see that would be or is horrific or is odd. So I truly recommend that you guys go check out Black Mirror on Netflix if you guys haven't. They just had a season 4 release last year. I really hope that this new season that they're coming out with is going to be even more bigger and better. Again, I'm still in season 2. I'm trying to take things slow. It's coming from the guy who still hasn't seen the last 2 episodes of season 2 for Stranger Things, because I just don't want it to end yet. It's that good. So here's to hoping that Black Mirror will come back with a different, approach, different story that I think that would be pretty awesome. I mean, it's the show alone is just great, and I truly recommend it. Oh, my bad. Sorry. That was a mistake. My bad. I'm sorry. I hit the play button on the audio. Before I wrap up this show, since I got about maybe 6-7 minutes with you guys left, before I wrap up the show, I wanted to talk about the Halloween franchise that we've discussed prior to there being this episode. The Halloween franchise has, of course, taken on a new installment in the series and is expected to hit theaters in October. It is being directed by David S. Gordon, or David Gordon Green, one of those guys. I'm having a hard time remembering who directed it. It is written by Danny McBride and then David Gordon Green. Danny McBride, if you don't remember his name, he's been Kenny Powers on Eastbound and Down. He's been on different shows, different movies, Tropic Thunder, 13 Minutes or Less. This is the End. He's been in many different shows, different movies, and he actually co-wrote this new installment of the Halloween franchise, as he is also a big fan of the horror genre. From what I'm getting, from what information that I'm seeing, is that there has been footage and a trailer shown at CinemaCon by Jamie Lee Curtis just 2-3 weeks ago. The trailer description, from what I read, has just been terrifying and entertaining and sheds new light on the character now that this story has totally gone out of its way to actually ignore all previous installments after Halloween 2. So from Season of the Witch all the way to H2O and Resurrection, all that has been wiped away, because this installment in the film is going to be taking place right after Halloween 2. And I know you're probably thinking that's quite a gap of time to be away from, the story, to be revisiting this for so long. Well, I like the way that this is being played out, considering the fact that Season of the Witch had nothing to do with the franchise. Halloween 4, the involvement of Paul Rudd's character was brilliant, but this whole involvement of Michael Myers' niece and there being this other form of causality that kind of just prolonged the story instead of the story of it being between him and Laurie Strode, his sister. It kind of played out when they brought in his niece, and they kind of just dragged it out from there. And then we had those remakes from Rob Zombie, which were creative and their very own way, and I was really truly entertained by those remakes. But however, just the general approach of there being a third Halloween film made by Rob Zombie was just something that just didn't seem right with audiences who appreciate the franchise. Now, I believe that this film which is due in October, to be one of the greatest films to come out in 2018 in the horror genre. I mean, we've had the Stephen King's remake of It come out last year, which was a big hit among a lot of people. A lot of people liked that movie. Casting has already been underway for Chapter 2, and there's some pretty big names that are being attached to this film, and they're still in the process of casting. But this Halloween film receives the return of Jamie Lee Curtis, sees the additions of Judy Greer, sees the additions of obviously someone more invested in playing Michael this time around to be joining the fray. Not a lot of details have been given. Not a lot of details of the trailer description have been given either. But again, like as I'm saying this right now, a lot of details and descriptions have not been said from the trailer. Just that the trailer has been noted to be terrifying and entertaining and just all around well-rounded. So that alone could sell me on a film, but I really hope that sooner than later we get to see some footage from the trailer that we can actually agree on it. It would be actually pretty cool to see. Again, like I said, Halloween franchise is a pinnacle of the horror genre. It's been very consistent. All these other additions that have happened after Season of the Witch are entertaining, like I've mentioned, but like I said, the additions of Michael Myers' niece and that story that has just prolonged the whole fact that there was nothing having any involvement with his sister, Jamie Lee Curtis. And now this film, moving forward, supposedly addresses the fact that that they're no longer siblings. I don't know how that works or how that doesn't work, or how that remains to be unsolved. It's beyond me. But the fact that we're getting a new Halloween movie come this October, just in time for Halloween, that just gets me more excited for the season, more excited for things that are coming down the pipeline, especially with this year. Aside from Marvel, aside from DC, well, not really DC, but more Marvel than anything, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, guys, this has been episode 50 of the Real Radar Radio Show. Thank you guys so much for checking in and for listening in. I owe you guys a lot. I can't wait to do 51. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. Check out my YouTube channel, realradar.com. It's not a thing. youtube.com/realradar productions is a thing. Backstories, archives for the past episodes are available on iTunes, Spreaker, and on YouTube. Check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll see you guys on episode 51.
Ah, Coach. So that's what keeps you on your toes.
Could be.